And even later in the episode, they do a flashback to Schwartzy's wedding when they're saying, how did this boys chat originate? There you go. One thing is for sure from watching this that I took away, Brittany absolutely fucking hates Jax. And that's the end of that. They ain't ever going to be back again. Not going to miss Jax. I think he was good TV. I don't see how this show or story could have moved ahead with Jax. I'm okay. I think it's funny that Jax also has cried over the years. Um, Zach reaches out. Jax is like, you shut up on that side of the fucking couch, dude. It's my show. Well, not anymore. They're fighting, and then we get into the whole Julian of it all. Lala's ex, Jax's friend. Brittany went out and slept with him. There were no rules for who you can sleep with. They were separated. He was in the friend group. Jax went crazy. This is what was interesting. When we heard about the coffee table, but apparently he threw the coffee table, he threw bar stools, he broke a laptop, he broke her phone, he gave her a black knee by throwing the coffee table, and he threw her into the rose bushes. So, yeah. And then, like, when they go down at the end and she's drug testing him, and that's why he gets to see Cruz every Tuesday or Wednesday and every other weekend. So he's seeing his son once a week and every other weekend. That she's just doing. She never wants to take her son away from his father. That's a good mother. But I think as long as he passes the drug test, and I don't blame her if he doesn't pass it, you're not going to leave your kid there. But I think it's interesting how she asked him if he's on steroids, and Andy's like, well, that would explain your rage, roid rage. And it seems like he just goes from 0 to 100. She talked about Easter and he was calm, and then he went psychotic the next day. And Jack said, this is what made me spiral about Julian. Brittany said he was extremely aggressive. He threw the coffee table. It landed on my knee. It turned black immediately. He threw both bar stools. He threw my Stanley Cup and broke it. Oh, no, not the Stanley Cup. He threw my phone and broke it. He threw my laptop and broke it. He threw me into the rose bushes. Jax seemingly admits all of that. I mean, I shouldn't be laughing. I didn't throw you into those rose bushes. So it seems like all the rest he actually admits. According to Brittany, he can't deny it because she has footage from her Ring camera, and Kristen is saying it's true. She noted that she and Julian never dated. They were hooking up for a couple of weeks. This man degraded me, put me down, shamed me. He made me feel sexy. Julian made me feel authentic. I had your son, and then you body shamed me for stretch marks. I had your child, your beautiful child. You literally called me a tree trunk. I'm sorry, I should not be laughing. This is disgusting because I had stretch marks. Really disgusting, Jax. Really. So she says she's the one that he said he would never want to uproot his kid and have him live with him. He wants him to stay in the house. She calls bullshit. I had to take our autistic son and move him to Airbnb, from Airbnb to Airbnb, because you would not leave the house knowing he needs stability, knowing everything. But your ego is so big, you made me and Cruz move out, and you didn't pay the mortgage for 7 months. Um, yeah, and Jack said, Brittany said, I don't, he said drugs and alcohol are not the problem. He's masking something else. He's masking her. Jax is fucked up. 156 days sober. Great. Brittany says she's worried because of the steroids. And then he called her the other day and said he didn't know if he was going to get kicked off the show. He was prolonging the alimony because the show and the bar and his son are the three things that he's happy with, and he was worried. And apparently to Jax, all of this started from Vanderpump Rules when he lost his job and when he parted ways. Guy, you got fired. You got fired. All of this started when he was fired from Vanderpump Rules, and it was COVID, and he didn't know where the money was coming from. That was when Brittany was on my podcast for Jenny Craig. Thank you, Jenny Craig, for giving me Brittany's interview. And Brittany was making money, and you just couldn't leave well enough alone and just realize that your wife is doing a good thing, and she's making the money. He couldn't. His ego, I'm a man, the man makes money. It's like, oh God, all these men living like it's 19 fucking 50. So not the best episode, if you want my opinion, not the worst episode. I think it was kind of interesting, but not really interesting. Um, there you go. Oh, and I think it's interesting. The fans, you guys, People are calling for Alex Baskin to be fired, which I find interesting. Let me just read you this. People, well, I mean, I shouldn't say people, some people. Let's not make it like it's hundreds, but there's no petition. It seems to be gaining some traction out there about Alex Baskin. And, you are the executive producer. And how could you have watched this here? This is what some people are saying, some one or two people, and it's gaining traction. If Britney does have video evidence, like she says on the Ring camera, of Jax pushing her into the bushes, and Alex Baskin, the executive producer of Vanderpump, in the Valley, saw said video for his response was to send Jax to rehab and not immediately fire him is unacceptable. He set a dangerous precedent and should resign as executive producer. So this is getting serious. People are calling for Alex Baskin to resign, to be fired, whatever. And this woman said this at PM302 on Twitter. And a lot of big Bravo accounts are starting to repost it. So it seems that people want Alex Baskin's head on a platter. I get it. I don't think it's the strangest thing. I said this when Jax was let go, left on his own. I said, I don't see how they could have kept him from a legal point of view. I think it is exactly Brit Edie. I think that's exactly it. Mind you, Kenya just did that Kenya did some talks and she announced she's not coming back to Atlanta. I don't know if anyone was expecting Kenya to come back to Atlanta, but that is really the main reason why Kenya can't come back right now. She can't come back while this $20 million thing is out there with Brit. Is that over with? Did Brit wrap it up? Have we moved on? Because if that's the case, great. But while this $20 million liability is hanging over Bravo's head, Kenya cannot come back. She just can't. That's the same thing with Jax. I don't see how they could have kept Jax from a legal point of view. Well, this at Pamela is saying, let's move past that. The fact that you didn't even fire Jax is a whole big, the fact that you haven't fired Alex Baskin is a whole big thing. And if Alex saw this video from the Ring camera, which I assume he did, you should have already fired Alex. Anyway, let's see what happens, you guys, next week, right? Ozzy Osbourne, RIP. These pictures, I'm sorry. You guys have to look at these pictures. I know people, I'm actually a little shocked at how much fanfare Ozzy's getting, but he was the Prince of Darkness. He was great, but they're sad. Look, everyone's parents die, everyone's siblings die. We all face death. So, I mean, Kelly and Jack and Sharon are just going to have to learn to cope with this. Death is an inevitable part of all of our lives, unfortunately. So